Detectives walked in the crime scene and saw the young woman's body lying on the ground. The dark and gloomy car park gave them goosebumps. When they came closer to the body, they started to examine.
So, that's the body. And so, you can obviously see that that's a suicide. Because firstly, it's a dark place and suitable for a suicide. And the gun in her right hand, she has shot from head and she is dead, obviously. That case is closed, it's opened for me. So, what's your comments about that crime?
I agree with you, it looks like a suicide, but why did she want to kill herself? I mean, look at this place, there are no cameras around. And if you look at the body carefully, she is definitely coming from somewhere.
I know, but you can't see that. And you know that's a famous reporter. And if you were a famous reporter, you would want to kill yourself in a public place or private with no cameras place.
But
you decide.
Why? I don't understand that. She was a popular reporter, you said.
But
when you're popular, I know you got enemies so much.
I know, but maybe that's an easy one, and she's bored with her life and wanted to suicide. That's an easy case. Don't think. Okay?
Okay, I can't say anything.
Obviously.
Let's go to the station.
Okay.
By the way, I'm a little cold.
Okay, good.
Do you have a jacket with you?
Yes, I bring some bags here. Here you go. A black one.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go.
Let's go. I can't stop thinking about it, you know.
What?
The reporter. Don't say anything, okay?
As you wish. Oh, wait, I recall I have to. Okay, I will look at that. They said that they sent this TV footages. Look at that.
But I still want to go to her apartment.
Cut me off. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of time.
You must come with me. Please.
If you buy me the coffees tomorrow, I can come with you.
Deal?
After that day, they met in front of the reporter's apartment and entered the house.
So that's our house.
Let's go.
So that's it.
I'm so nervous. I don't know why.
Me too. I don't know why too.
What's her flat number?
Actually, I don't know what the other officer said that the key was on the door. So we can see that.
Let's go.
Left? Oh,
That one.
okay, you. So here we are. Do you think that you can find an evidence?
I don't know. You can search.
I don't think that you can find.
That's just notebook. What can you find in it?
There's nothing in it. Just some numbers.
I know. Probably it's some financial work.
Maybe. I think you must try to open this computer.
What are you going to try to find? While it's open, are you going to look at the coffee thing? Because I think you are so. It's an obvious crime, you know? Just. It's a suicide. Let's go.
Don't mess with me.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
It's your work.
It's our work, actually.
I know, but I
So do something.
I already did something that
You did what?
find the victim and murder each one of them. You know?
Yes. It's
Celine killed herself. You can accept that.
Something is wrong
What
with
are
it.
we going to dig for?
I don't know.
There is no evidence here.
Maybe she was working on a story. I don't know.
So we don't know anything, right?
We are trying to find
Okay.
something.
I will just sit and watch for you to find your evidence that you are looking for.
After 5 minutes of research in Celine's flat,
Oh my god, you are so stubborn. You are working on that laptop for
You
like
should come and see this. You should come and see
5
this.
minutes.
It's
What's that?
password protection. It has password protection.
So it can be private work.
I don't know. We should send this to our IT team.
Okay,
Maybe they can find something.
Alright, good.
Okay.
after some research, Begum realized that Celine was left-handed. She realized that because of the mouse was on the left side of the laptop and the glass, it was on the left side too. After that, Atacan started to worry a bit because if she finds out that Atacan was guilty, he can rot in the jail because of that. Two days later, in the interrogation room,
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. Thanks, I'm shy.
What do you mean?
I want to talk to you about something. Take a seat, please.
Okay.
So, tell me that story.
Which story?
Story that how you murdered that reporter.
We already did that conversation. We talk about it's not a murder. It's a suicide.
You say so. At first, I thought you got bored.
Yes.
Then pieces start complete themselves.
Like what?
Like small mistakes. At her apartment, I realized that she was left-handed. But in the car park, gun was placed in her right hand.
So,
Then, when I found her computer, you act like a child. Not really a child. So, I started to get some suspicious, you know. And you know, every crime has some mistakes. And that was yours. Small mistake.
after some chat, he confessed everything that he did and told the whole story.
You are such a diva. At least you confessed. From now on, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
2 years ago, when I was just 18 and such a beautiful girl, I met a guy named Atacan. I was in college these days and he was a cop. He was 3 years older than me, but he looked older and older. Maybe his face was like that because of his job or his tiring life. When we met, he was acting like such a good person. Then months later, I realized he wasn't. He asked me to go out one night. I accepted. But when he came to my place to take me out, I realized that he was so drunk. I didn't say anything at first. When we were driving, he didn't let me drive, so I was terrifying in that moment. Suddenly, he hit a child. She was lying on the road, and I screamed his face to stop and go to her. He didn't. He drove the car extremely fast. I was still screaming, but he wasn't hearing me. I didn't know what to do. He drove the car to a silent place and stopped it. I was terrified. He told me to get out of the car. I did. He was still so high. He shouted at me, "This has never happened. If you tell anybody about it, I will kill you too." I started to cry. Then I said, "You have to do something. She might be dead right now. We can't stay here and wait or die." He shouted loudly this time. I said, "No, we won't do anything and we will forget it. Do you understand?" If I would do anything, he could harm me, so I shut my mouth. He spoke for the last time. "I'm leaving now. I never want to see you again. Be careful. If you speak, you will die." Then he left me on the road and get into the car. He drove without looking back. It was the last time I saw him. Years later, I became a reporter. One day when I was reporting, I realized that it was her story. Her parents were instant about finding the murderer. I felt terribly uncomfortable and still didn't know what to do. I made a decision and went to talk about the crime that I witnessed. When I was in police station, everything happened accidentally. I saw him. He came to me, smiled, and asked what I was doing there. I gathered once, bro. I told him that I decided to talk and tell on him. He pissed off and told me, "You are doing such a dangerous thing. You will be regretted." Then I didn't talk and went to my house.